What's better in Disneyland? Today, we are talking about what we think is better in Disneyland versus Walt Disney World.
Yes, some things are better in the land. That is for sure. So we're going to talk about that today. I'm going to pick two. Connie's going to pick two. But we want to hear from you. Let us know what you think is better in Disneyland versus Disney World in the comments below.
And hopefully, if you haven't visited Disneyland yet, hopefully someday you can add it to your bucket list and get over there. I think it's one of my favorite places. It has so much nostalgia, but it's also just really cool to see all the attractions that are, in fact, better, in our opinion.
Listen, I think every Disney fan should visit Disneyland at least once. Even if you're an East Coaster and you are a frequent traveler to Walt Disney World, Disneyland just is a special place. It's where it all started. Even though some of the attractions are the same, which we're going to talk about today, there is a lot that is better in Disneyland. And I think it's a must-do for people who go to Disney World a lot.
They're the same name attractions, so I would say similar, but as you will hear right now, I think some of them are better. And you know what? Next time we're going to do what's better in Walt Disney World.
That's correct. And I think
tuned.
it's great. I don't want the same exact thing in Disney World as Disneyland. I think it's great that you have to, in order to experience a few of these things, I think it's fantastic that you have to go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with we're going to pick two each. Two things that are better in Disneyland, two attractions.
That's it, just two? Okay. Attractions or just anything in general?
Yeah, anything in general.
Okay. I have a lot.
Go, number one.
Okay, I might get a little hate for this. I'm not sure, only because maybe people will be confused. We did talk about this on our last podcast, but I have to say it's going to be Sleeping Beauty Castle, and that would be up against Cinderella Castle, which is in Walt Disney World.
That's surprising.
I know, and everybody's probably going to be confused because the number one thing I hear is how when people walk down Main Street USA in Disneyland, they kind of get disappointed with the size of the castle. It is supposed to be the centerpiece of Disneyland, but it really is so much smaller in scale than the castle at Walt Disney World that it's kind of hard to get excited. However, the one thing I really, really love is the fact that you can actually walk through Sleeping Beauty Castle. Now, I know you can technically dine in Cinderella Castle if you have a deep pocket or whatever, but I feel like having the actual attraction where you can actually walk through and get to know the story of Sleeping Beauty and Maleficent is super cool.
I think it's cool. Like, you get to walk through Cinderella's castle and eat there, but you don't get to walk through and kind of hear the story of Sleeping Beauty or Cinderella in Walt Disney World. So I like it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not my favorite thing in the world to do, and you may not want to go through with people right behind you because they're going to be bumping right into you if you want to take your time. But, you know, if it's your thing,
it's your thing. I think, well, I know that it also, like, it's two totally different characters, right? So Sleeping Beauty, Disneyland, and Cinderella, Disney World. But to me, it's the centerpiece. And as a kid, I remember going through the castle at Walt Disney World, and there was like a glass shop in this, and I have this like really cute souvenir from when I was younger. The actual glass shop used to be in the castle, and I remember just feeling really special, but then also kind of disappointed in the fact that was like it. Like, that's it. There's nothing else to see. Whereas in Disneyland, you really get to feel like you're in the castle. So, all right.
My first one is Pirates of the Caribbean. Or Caribbean, however you say it.
It's a really good one. That was on my list too.
100% better in Disneyland than Disney World. Now, I'm not saying because it's better in Disneyland that the Disney World version isn't good. But anything from the queue to how you enter onto the Pirates ride to how you get off in Disneyland to where it's located, fantastic in Disneyland versus Disney World. So it's a must-do for any Disney World fan.
I think the storytelling is better in the Pirates version in Disneyland. I don't know if it has to do with the fact that where it's located in Disneyland has that ambiance of pirates, and then you walk into the queue and then you're in the ride itself, you feel way more immersed, in my opinion, than you do at Walt Disney World. And I get it. Like, we're not bashing Walt Disney World version, but if we had to choose, Disneyland all the way.
There's some things in Disney World does, just Pirates isn't one of them.
Exactly.
It's better than Disneyland. What's your second one?
That was my second one, but since you already mentioned that, I'm going to go with an entire land that I think is better in Disneyland.
What's that?
That is Fantasyland. I think Fantasyland and Disneyland is far better than Fantasyland and Walt Disney World, mainly because it's smaller in scale, but it's quaint, and I feel like it's actually like you're in a storybook. Whereas Walt Disney World is beautiful, but I think it gets lost in translation a little bit.
Yeah, I agree.
It's almost too big.
And it's like where everybody tends to gravitate to. So in Fantasyland and Disney World, not that Disneyland is by any means less crowded and organized better, but it feels like Fantasyland and Disney World is the most crowded place to walk around.
When I'm in Fantasyland and Disneyland, I think of myself as a character playing a role in a storybook movie or whatever. Like that is I'm truly immersed. Whereas Walt Disney World, I'm having fun, don't get me wrong, but I'm not as immersed in the story, and I don't feel like a true escape. I almost feel a little stressed in Fantasyland and Walt Disney World.
That's interesting. I feel like I'm with you on that one.
Okay.
Next one for me is Small World.
Yeah.
Small World is a must-do in Disneyland, and it's a must-don't in Disney World.
We've gotten a few people that have messaged us that said from our recent podcast saying that It's a Small World in Walt Disney World in the Magic Kingdom is a must-do for them for a variety of reasons. I mean, obviously,
what are those reasons?
I mean, if you can't get to Disneyland, it'll do just fine. But once you go to the Disneyland version, you will never look at the one in Magic Kingdom the same ever again.
I think, yeah, you're right. If you are a fan of Small World and Disney World, Disneyland's going to ruin that for you.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, you're going to go to Disneyland and you'll be like, this is what it could be? Wow.
Right?
And then you're going to go back to Disney World and be like, I am never going on that again. Well, that is a poor representation of what Small World could actually be.
I hear you 100%. I think that is also on my list, but I only chose 2 today, so I couldn't really add it to my list, but I agree. And I think it's just a special place to visit if you can. That's all I'm going to say about
all right,
that.
I'm going to throw a bonus one in there.
Go for it.
One that's better in Disneyland than Disney World, Haunted Mansion.
Now that was talked about on our kids' recent podcast. They kind of talked about what they thought.
On the Diz Kids podcast?
Yeah, I don't actually might have not been the last
What they have to
episode.
say about it?
They weren't sure. I think they were conflicted in the sense of they really appreciated the queue at Disneyland. It's very unique and something they're not used to. But in World, not only do you get that interactiveness in the queue when you're waiting, but it feels spookier because it's like a gothic mansion.
I like it in Disneyland because you go down. The room goes down. You get to take an elevator down and go on in the attraction. Plus, it's like most things, it's the original, right? It was there. It was Walt's idea, but he never really got to see it come to fruition. There was a lot of back and forth about what the storyline should be. So in Disney World, all they had to do was take the storyline that they already came up with in Disneyland and create a different mansion for it. Disney World Land is like what they envisioned from the beginning. It is
cool that Disneyland's version is pretty on the outside. Like it's kind of unassuming. You go in, you're like, oh, what happened here? But you're really not sure. And
it's like a perfect fit for New Orleans Square, too, right? It fits right in. If you ever been to New Orleans, you get to see those properties and those houses that fit in with that style. So it looks like it fits in.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's a Louisiana-style mansion sitting there waiting for you to go in and get haunted by all the spooky ghosts.
Does that make it more spooky? Because it's like, there's more to this story versus a big gothic mansion you kind of already creeped out.
The thing, too, about Disneyland is you enter the mansion, right?
Yeah.
When you are in Disney World, you see the mansion up on the hill, but it still feels like you're going into the side basement.
Yeah, that's true. You're going through the side entrance.
Yeah, I'm going through the side entrance, right? Like in Disney World, you walk in the front door. Sorry, in Disneyland, you walk in the front door. It's you're really entering the mansion.
Yeah, you're about to enter the Grim Grinning Gala.
Yes. In Disney World, it's like, there's the mansion, but we're going over here.
Over here,
we weren't technically invited to the mansion. We're going into the basement.
We're going to the server quarters area.
So that's kind of why, for me, it's also better in Disneyland.
I hear ya.
But that's not to say we don't love Disney World. We absolutely do. And this YouTube video is actually brought to you by Unlocking the Magic Travel. You can check out the link below. And check out the Diz Kids podcast. But on next week's YouTube, we'll do better in Disney World because we don't want to feel like we like Disneyland, even though we do better than Disney World.
We don't want to leave Disney World out.
We do love Disney World. It's the park that we've gone to so many times. So on next week's YouTube video, we'll do some things, attractions that are better in Disney World than Disneyland because there is quite a bit that's better in Disney World.
Much more better.
So thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, by the way.
Subscribe.
See ya.